Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA here talking about the latest sensation, the new dog in the yard, Mr. Khamzat Chimaev. He just fought Li Jingliang on UFC 267. Another example of destruction. Kind of strikes me as the new Conor McGregor in a way, a superhuman coming up through the ranks, just taking everyone out. And everyone just doesn't want to see him lose. They think he's unbeatable. They straight away think him as title contention. What are your thoughts, Colby?
I think he is definitely a sort of guy. You see a lot of these guys that are coming to UFC and they have a lot of hype around them and they face a top guy and it shuts them down. I think Khamzat is worth all the hype. Like, I was a bit iffy on him at the start, but you just got to respect him, man. For his last 4 fights, he's been hit like less than probably 5 times consecutively. And what he managed to do against the Leech, where Leech came in through the 1-2, he shot under, grabbed him, walks him to the corner. 2 minutes later, he has him in a rear naked choke. Like, you've got to respect that. It's just impressive.
Yeah, man. I think we want a superhuman, right? I think we watch these movies about superheroes, etc., and I think we want people to be unbeatable. We want to watch people like that. Plus, he's pretty captivating sort of guy, you know. And eventually, we're gonna see his weaknesses. You look at his early fights; he's definitely not perfect, but you look at him just from a UFC perspective. They're saying he delivered 112 strikes in 4 fights and received 1 strike. It's fucking amazing. You know, like, you don't get people having records like that. It's pretty phenomenal. So he's a killer. Look at he's also got this amazing wrestling history. It was in Sweden. So Sweden's obviously not the capital of the world for wrestling, but still he hardly even got scored points against him. He was like 6 times national champ. Pretty amazing stuff there too.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, it's hard to say what his weaknesses will be, seen as how many fights he's got. I think from his record, he's got 1 fight, 2 fights just made into the second round. And even then, he still looked pretty fresh in that. So who knows, maybe if he gets put in like a 3 or a 5-round fight. But currently, it doesn't matter if he gets put into a 10-round fight, because it seems that no one's really making it out of the first, very least, second round with a guy like this.
Yeah, man. He seems to have that God hand, that right hand that can just put people to sleep. That his right hand's a killer. And the second thing is everything he chases to get takedown seems to be a body lock. Every time he gets the body lock and then takedown. So, you know, people can probably work that out. I don't know if that's his only takedown. We wait to see that. But that's if that's his only real attack, someone's going to counter it. And a big right hand, you know, isn't necessarily going to get him past everyone. So we need to see him tested. We need to see him. He's already fought great guys and he's killing it. We need to see him against the next tier, right?
Yeah, exactly right. You want to see him against. So I think they just tucked him to a rankings at number 10. So realistically, you want to see him against one of these sort of top 5 guys, like, because who knows, if say Usman wins this upcoming matchup, Usman's went through pretty much everyone. You might give him a sort of bigger name. I don't know, maybe like a Burns or someone like that who isn't scheduled. If he gets through them, like, even though it's still early, give him a title shot, because I think this is a sort of one division where Usman gets through Colby, he's pretty much knocked off every one of these contenders. So then it makes sense for someone like this, the Khamzat, who's just steamrolling everyone. Like, fuck, he says he wants to fight for the belt. He's hungry for it. Give him a shot. Who knows? It might be one of the like craziest UFC stories ever, where he just comes through and just runs through, and it's like that superhero thing where he said the bloke is just on another level. Absolute domination. Do I think he can do that to Usman? Not necessarily, but I want to see that fight 100%.
Man, when I think about it, I think that they should just build him up to it, because I don't necessarily think he's ready for that one just yet. I would like to see him give him Magny. They mentioned Magny. Magny's a spoiler who messed up Li Jingliang as well. I don't think he stopped him as quickly. Did he stop him? Anyway, he beat him, but he was doing it pretty decisively through a few rounds. And I think that would be another good test, just a small step up. And they also talked about Diaz. And Diaz, I don't know, that's another test, I guess, like someone with a rock-hard chin that you can't beat so easily. Those two are kind of interesting to me. I think if they throw him to Marty from Nebraska, he might get smoked. So I can build him up, give him that chance to prove himself a little bit at a time, move up. It'll also build his popularity, and that if he can keep destroying people, and then, you know, 2 or 3 fights away, give him the title if he's still performing the same way. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see though. Like, I'd like to see him throw him to Kamaru. This would be definitely throwing to the wolves, you know, this is the biggest test he could find, you know.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm just looking at the rankings actually. So I thought Chiesa would be a good fight, but Chiesa's obviously scheduled. And then you got Luque and Burns are pretty much the top guys who aren't scheduled. And I think both of them fights would make sense, as they're both good on the feet. They're not going to be, they've seen it all. They're not going to be intimidated by a presence, for hype or anything like that. They've both got rock hard chins and they both got very solid jiu-jitsu, especially Burns. So I want to see just Khamzat versus Burns, because Burns fought for a title contender. So if Khamzat can go out there and do what he does to someone like Gilbert Burns, who was just 1 or 2 fights ago against the title, in the title fight, I think it's going to show what his ceiling really is. So I want to see him fight like a Luke, a Chiesa, if he wasn't scheduled, obviously, because Chiesa does have good ground game, or even someone like a Burns who can sort of give him that hype. Someone like Nate Diaz, I think it's good to build hype around him, but I'm fairly comfortable in saying that Khamzat would probably just school him. Like watching how Leon was dominating Diaz on the ground, even just first, you saw in the 3rd or 4th round, he hit a beautiful sweep, was hitting foot sweeps, who was taking him down, who was controlling his back and stuff like that. And if Leon can do that to Nate, even though Nate does have good jiu-jitsu, I feel like Khamzat could probably just squash him at this point. So I want to see Khamzat versus Burns. I think that's personally the fight I want to see next for him.
Yeah, I'd love to see the ground fighting in that respect. I just worry about Burns' chin just that little bit with the fight he had against it's an old fight, but it always sticks in my head, the fight with Hooker, man. This always sticks in my head, that boom, and just like hooks him dead, you know, like that fight always sticks in my head. But maybe it was dehydrated. That's what Hooker said. But still, yeah.
I think once we saw his chin come up, my bad, but I think once we saw him come up to 170, his chin definitely did improve. So I think he's going to be able to take a lot more shots. But then again, his last fight, he dropped Usman, but then he did get pieced up by him towards the end. So there is some damage there, which you don't want to see sort of. What was it? I think it was a jab or something. A jab that ended up knocking him down and almost finishing him. So that is a bit worrying to see.
Yeah, man. Like you said, I'd like to see him against Burns as well. Chiesa would be a mad one, because Chiesa's got such a high work rate and such a skilled wrestler. Or Magny, like I said, a spoiler. Get these guys in and then give him that step up after that, you know. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that.
Cool. All right, bro. Thanks for your time again. Talk soon.
No worries at all, bro.